Okay, folks, ladies and gentlemen, we got, how do I say your last name, Evan?
Perlmutter.
Perlmutter. We got Evan Perlmutter, Infuriated Knicks fan, in the chat with us. And Evan, that hurts. That Evan.
Dude, I've been hurt for 20 years with the same thing.
Yeah, break it down to us. Explain it to him. Explain it to me, man, because I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Explain it to me, because I've been a Knicks fan since 1986.
Hold on. You want me to give you like my background, or you want me to give you kind of the eBay aspect? What do you want me to dive into?
You can dive into it all, man. Give us your background, and then you can jump into the eBay aspect. We want to know. We want to know what's going on with you.
I think the first thing is like the misconception of what everyone thinks. Everyone thinks like, oh, it's just like this dude who doesn't really care, who thinks the Knicks had a bad pick, and who's pocketing $3,500. I think when you read the headlines, that might be how it sounds, but there's a couple deliverables that people don't understand. Like when I said I love the NBA. So if I was going to jump ship on a team that I loved in a league that I love, I want to be invested elsewhere. So betting $500 on another team ensures that I'm going to root for whatever team it was going to be each and every game, to go to one of those teams' home games, to attend one of the team's away games. I mean, if you can imagine what the cost of a flight to LA, hotel accommodations, 2 tickets to the game, to buy 2 jerseys, or other merchandise, other memorabilia, as well as to leave some of my Knicks stuff behind. And just to give some of your background, it's not like I'm like this casual ass Knicks fan. I mean, I was born into this, and no, I'm actually not.
No, let him talk. Let him talk, Aunt G. Let him talk. You'll get your chance. Let him talk. Go ahead.
I'm probably as old, if not older, at least than you guys on here. So when it was like middle school and the mid-90s Knicks, I'm staying up way past my bedtime to watch the awesome Knicks that we knew and loved. And look, I'm going to preface this because I'm not just hopping off because of the win-loss record. Like, we all loved Ewing, we loved Oakley, we loved Mason, we loved Larry, we loved Sprewell, we loved Starks. Actually, I loved Hubert Davis and Rick Brunson. Like, guys that half these Knicks fans don't even know about. After college, I took a job at MSG for 4 years, making $31,000 a year in New York City. Who the hell can live off that? To watch with the Knicks, to have access to that.
Okay, so let me ask you. You said one thing you said is, it costs money to buy a new jersey, to bet on a team. That's on you. If you want to switch the team, that's on you, isn't it? Why isn't it on somebody else to pay you? Why isn't it on somebody else to pay you to go ahead and like another team? I mean, that person, I'm wondering why that person did it.
Dolan and the top-down approach. Like, it's not even the win-loss on the court. It's not even the roster of players which we have, which is pathetic. Our best offseason move was Ron Baker opting in. I mean, just absurd. It's the front office. It's 20 years of horrific management.
But what about why right now, when we have what looks like a future? Kevin Knox,
I'll be honest, right now, if I'm a Knicks fan, I have hope. It's one of the first times. Look, I was at the Melo Billups press conference, and the future is potentially bright. But I've said that annually every year for the last 20 years. You have to understand that. Yeah, right now, look, before this season ended, I wanted the Knicks to tank. I wanted to lose to the Hawks. I wanted to lose to the Magic. I wanted to lose to the teams that we should have lost to down the stretch, like the Sixers did once KP goes down. KP sits all next year. You get Trae Young. Maybe you move up and get Bagley. You let that dude develop. You get a max free agent next year. You have a healthy KP. 2019, 2020, you're ready to ride. Last year, we drafted Frank triangle offense that no one in the NBA runs. We drafted a player based on an offense that no one runs, and then fired the GM who drafted that player the week after we drafted him. How can you possibly run anything more backwards than that?
Listen, you know what? You're right with all of that. You are exactly right. And every single one of us Knicks fans here in the chat.
Can't fight back. Dolan has corporate America. He's going to sell out the Garden. The ticket prices are going to go up. The sponsorships are going to go up. It doesn't matter the product that he puts on the court. Our highest paid player is Joakim Noah. We don't even know what culture he's in.
Right, but right now we are in a midst of a change. I mean, if you can't see that, you got to be able to see it. Like you just said, you said, if I was a Knicks fan, which you just became not a Knicks fan, I guess. Right. If you were a Knicks fan, you would be encouraged about the direction of the team.
Yeah, right? Yes, but I've also been encouraged about the direction of the team.
So you can't
the last 20 years, only to screw it up at the next turn. Dude.
So you're telling me right now you don't see anything different. And then I have one more thing I want to ask you, and then I'm gonna let these guys jump in and ask you some questions. All right.
I'll say this: it's bright. It's the brightest it's been since the Melo press conference and Jeremy Lin tearing it up for a month. Yeah. So to answer your question, I agree, but at least it was enjoyable and we were winning games at that point. It was a circus, and he got paid off it.
Okay, well, so let me just ask you this, and then I'm gonna open these guys up to ask you a question.
Sure.
From my perspective, looking from the outside, it looks like this is an attention grab. I'm just being blunt and honest with you. And the reason why I say that is because why couldn't you, if you didn't want to be a Knicks fan anymore, okay, I get it. Why couldn't you silently go off and say, I'm done with this team? Why'd it have to be public? Why'd you have to put it on eBay?
Because Dolan someone needs to be the voice of all these fans who have just been dragged through the mud for the past 15 years. We're the only franchise that can take legendary coaching. Only the Knicks can manage to make Phil Jackson and Larry and Don Cheaton and Lenny Wilkins horrible. We have coaches like fighting players.
Okay.
This 20 years. This isn't a 1-year thing. This wasn't okay, we made a bad draft pick. I'm not happy with the product on the court. This is the harder I cry. This is quicksand. This is horrible. This is annually. Every year for 20 years. I've already lived there.
That's what being a fan is, bro. Being a fan is being with your team through the lowest and the hardest time. If you can dump your team and go root for the Los Angeles Lakers, bro, I can understand if you went to the Brooklyn, you went to the
Los Angeles Lakers. It's not like I didn't get to pick. I didn't get to pick the team. And if I picked the team, let me tell you right now, it's not. There was a couple teams I would have hated to go to. The teams that are rivals with the Knicks, like the Bulls, the Pacers.
But I feel you're not even a real Laker fan, is what you're saying. So what are you?
I'm in the Lakers. I think it takes time. I mean, when you were a Knicks fan, when it was your third day of Knicks fan, whatever that was, if it was 6th grade for you, were you as a big fan?
No,
were you a bigger fan on your third day as you are now?
You can't force yourself to be a fan of a team, bro. You can't say, "Oh, now I'm going to be a Laker fan." Because as soon as the Browns leave and the Lakers start sucking again like they have been for the last 6 years, you're going to join the next big team. You're going to put the Lakers on eBay, and that's what it is.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna get the Guillermo. And I'm gonna ask you guys. Don't talk in the background. Don't talk to them in the background. Whoever's talking, let them talk. Go ahead, Guillermo.
Yeah. Just to point out a few things to point out how fake of a fan this guy is. First of all, if you said 20 years, that's 1998. We got rid of a lot of those players like Hogan and those guys. So what you're doing is pointing to a script. So you said our best move this offseason was signing Ron Baker. Actually, we signed Mario Hezonja, who was considered one of the top.
Mario, a top 10 pick that nobody wants.
Actually, a lot of teams actually want Mario Hezonja. If you actually watch basketball, which I'm pretty sure you don't, you know the Magic run a terrible ship over there. And Mario Hezonja posted his best numbers in his 4th year, but they didn't offer him the 5th year extension. That's why we got him. Also, our draft. Everyone wants to talk about our draft. I hope you're not related to the kid who was crying for MPJ, a kid who might not even play this year, who has a bad back. We picked probably the best pick out. You said, hold up, this is how much of a Knicks fan, hold up. This is how much of a non-Knicks fan, a non-basketball fan you are. If you did draft, hold on, I'll let you speak, bro. But if you actually did your draft, you said we should have picked a guy like Marvin Bagley. Go read the scouting reports. Go to Bleacher Report. And they'll show you that Marvin Bagley has an outdated game, a game that's suited for college, and he plays no defense, and he struggled in the summer league. This is a guy that everyone's saying that the Kings are going to regret because he's basically, unless he develops his game to actually be able to shoot and actually defend, he's going to become a bust. But you said Marvin Bagley, and I'm pretty sure you said Marvin Bagley because of the name. Now, the only thing you said that was of any value.
I wanted Trey first and foremost, no questions asked.
Yeah. Oh, right. And you're talking about Trey.
Let him speak.
I wanted the Knicks to go 0-82 this year, for KP not to play a single game and to get the #1 pick next year. And then you got Trae Young developed.
Who's the #1 pick you want for next year?
#1 pick. You got KP. You got a max free agent. And you got Hardaway.
Who's the #1? And you said Hardaway. Hardaway is shot inefficiently. He doesn't even fit this team right now. And who's the #1 pick? Who's the #1 pick you want for next year?
Next year. What, you want to get rid of him? We just gave him $18 million a year.
Who's the #1 pick for next year?
Bro.
Who is? Yeah, no. Wait.
Hey, Guillermo. Okay, Guillermo, hold on. Let me get to Isaiah before I get to you, and I'm gonna ask you guys in the chat not to say anything in the background. All right. We got on the line Oscar.
Hey,
what's going on, Oscar?
Can the faker hear me? Can the faker hear me? Okay.
Infuriated Knicks fan. He can hear you.
If you're not a, in your own words, casual ass Knicks fan, how do you just walk away after what, like 25 years? I've been a diehard for like 3, and walking away, like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. Investing so much time into this team, how can you just walk away? You'll never feel like a true Lakers fan because you never should have been a fan. You just wanted the money, the attention, and you ran with it. The fact that
I'm probably going to lose money in this, first and foremost. And second off, that's why you don't know what I feel. You've been a fan for 3 years. That's it.
But you didn't let me finish. The fact that the Knox pick made you jump ship, like, seriously?
I was done last year. Look, this wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back. I was done last year, but I stayed because hey, I'm a Knicks guy, so I stayed. I toughed it out like a New Yorker. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 17, I was done. Toughed it out again. Always joke with my buddies like this franchise is killing me. It's beyond frustrating. 82 games, the entire offseason. The harder I root, the worse it gets. I just can't take it.
What was so bad about last year? Last year was fine compared to like the 17-win season.
Bad and worse. Welcome to New York.
What did you say?
Bad and worse.
So Evan, let me ask you this, right? Because while you're arguing and talking, right, you sound like a Knicks fan. You keep saying we.
It right? runs through me. I'll tell you what. One of my favorite jerseys. My boy bought me for my birthday. A black on black mellow, white outlined in orange. The kid who came over, the dude who won the bid, I laid out a bunch of gear. We had a little draft process. He got to pick which pieces he wanted to burn first, and I got to pick which ones I wanted to keep. He picked the thing I liked the most, and it hurt. That's how it feels when you break up with something that you really like for a really long time.
So you're telling me, and then I'm gonna get to Isaiah. So you're telling me, and Oscar, do you have anything else you want to say?
I don't even want to talk to this guy. No, I'm done.
You're done? All right, Oscar. Always a pleasure, man.
If your guy's shoes, and I'm talking to someone who sold their Yankee fan, now all of a sudden a Dodgers fan. I'm in your guys' shoes, and I'm saying the same stuff. So, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just not dealing with 18 years. So, all right. So now you're gonna tell me. The guest really wants to go on here. He's gonna.
I'm gonna get him. When this season starts, you're gonna be able to sit there and say, in the back of your mind, somewhere deep down inside, you're not gonna be rooting for the Knicks.
Well, before last season ended, I wanted the Knicks to go 0-82 in 2018, 2019. KP's going to be out. Why are you going to rush KP back for what? To win games maybe down the stretch and hurt your draft pick?
Okay.
No. Even not being a Knicks fan, it's in the best interest of the Knicks to be horrible all year. Look at the 76ers. Mm-hmm. We're in the same shoes, and our best players hurt. You're going to rush him back to put a product that can't make the playoffs on the court? The point of this. And everyone's saying, like, oh, we're going to get KD next year. The Knicks aren't getting KD next year. Look, I bought MSG stock when I thought LeBron was going to come to the Knicks. His interview was going to be at Allen Houston's house. I was all in. LeBron, we were going to be awesome. No.
That stock did you well, though. That stock did you well because back then that stock was $18 a share. That stock is now $200, $300 a share. I'm sure that stock did you well.
It split off.
Yeah, it split off. It split off, but the sports part of it did very well, and the Cablevision part of the stock is still above where you probably bought into the stock. Isaiah, it's on you, bro.
Your name's Evan, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man. I will give you this, brother. I will give you this. You flipped nothing to $3,500. That's a real hustler. I give you that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna give you that. But you turned nothing to $3,500, so I respect that. But let me tell you a few things, man. Like, I tell you what the Knicks mean to me, bro. I've been a Knicks fan my whole life, and I'm 25. And the thing that got me part of the Knicks, why I really love them, is because my dad. My dad got me into the Knicks when I was young, so I always had a connection with that, and that's why the Knicks is dear to my heart. Because my dad and me always share that. We went to games together, all that. So the Knicks, I can't never leave the Knicks because it's part of my family. It's part of who I am. It's big to me. You know, that's what it is. I literally, in my 25 years of life, I've seen, and I can't count the 90s because I was a kid, so I don't count that. My 25 years of life, I've seen one good season.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to rock with them because I know that the future is going to be good. Because right now where we at, the future is going to be really bright, bro. This is not the same management that you've seen the last 20 years. This is Scott Perry. This is Steve Mills.
I said the same thing that you're saying, and the last 8 years has been crap.
But let me tell you something, bro. Do you know what the big difference is? You know what the difference is? We're not trading away draft picks. We're not trading away this. We're not trading away young players that go good on other teams. We're not signing the Jerome James, the Allen Houstons. We're not doing that no more. We got young players. All our best players are under 25. And the whole thing, and then I was kind of.
The majority of the teams under 25, if they're good or they're bad. If Frank's bad, Frank has no offense. Oh, he's young. Well, if someone's decent, he's decent and he's young. So it's like Knicks fans try to portray it either way. Look, and I get where you're coming from. If you would have told me this 10 years ago that I'd be in these shoes, I would have said, no way. No shot is this happening. Like, no way, but it's just. Go for it.
But you know what it is too, Bo? But let me give you something about the whole Dennis Smith Jr.
Oh, don't know what happened there, but I want to back him up on something though, Evan, because talking about he talked about what the Knicks mean to him. I'm not gonna say a similar story, but a story that's even a little bit deeper than that, right? You know, I grew up in a pretty rough situation. Stepfather was a drug dealer. My mother, went through a bunch of things, and I got a whole video that's coming out about it. And I mean, there were times in my life where the only thing I had in my house, my lights were cut off, had no food. I'm eating, cans of green beans. And you know what took me away from dealing and facing that day to day? Laying my head down next to the radio and listening to Walt Clyde Frazier call the game play by play. When I was able to have MSG watching the Knicks for those 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours, I was away from just my everyday life, because there were some things that as a young child I wasn't able to deal with. I couldn't deal with. I was powerless. But that took me away from it for those few hours. And that's why I am a dedicated diehard Knicks fan, because it's not just that time of my life. There are different periods throughout my life where the Knicks were there. And some people may look at me and say, well, you needed something else. But no, the Knicks, the team, the organization, they don't know it, obviously, but they were part of me getting through some of the roughest points and the lowest points of my life. And some of the lowest points of my life just unfortunately happened when I was a child. They were there for me. And a lot of people, there's a lot of Knicks fans that have, and fans of all teams, that have the same type of stories. And some of them don't even realize it. That's why there's a lot of people that's so passionate about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and look, the Knicks were your outlet. They were your escape. How you say you listen to Walt on the radio. I mean, granted, I had the luxury of having a television. Not that that's here nor there, but the amount of Yankee and John Sterling games that I've listened to that have helped me out through a bad day or made a good day better. Granted, definitely not to the severity of what your situation was, but I get it to a degree. That's your escape, and that intensifies your relationship with the team.
It does.
But there's no reciprocity here. That the crux of the problem is the front office. Everyone's saying the future is bright now. I've said that annually for 15, 16, 17 years and just keep shooting myself in the foot. Like, at what point does it end? If I'm 80 years old and that's it, and then it's just like, I was a Knicks fan my whole life, and it just got bad and worse, and that's it, and it sucked, and I never did it. I didn't do dick about it. But it's like, you can't even do anything. Dolan is horrible. The fact that Marge Schott and Al Davis and all these people, he was never the worst owner in sports, because there was these horrific owners, horrific. But now these people are gone, and Dolan is terrible.
Well. I mean, you got a point. Dolan, you know, I mean, he's been staying out of the Knicks business, and he's definitely
since he hired Phil. I mean, you know, we tried to LeBron, and I was on Carton today, and he was telling me this story. We're trying to recruit LeBron, and the Nets are bringing it, or whatever. Jay-Z, everyone's got this guy, that guy, the other guy. We show clips of famous people who come to games and rolling Donnie Walsh in a wheelchair. Like, that's the best pitch we have? Fire Isaiah.
Look, I mean, you make some valid points.
Well, after Isaiah should have been fired. We fire him, and somehow he's still making the decisions for the team? We just fired this guy.
I mean, look, you make a lot of valid points.
Phil drafts our draft pick, and the next week we fire him.
Yeah, you make a lot of valid points, but that is the definition of a fanatic. Nate, I'm on you, Nate. Nate's not ready. Nate, Nate, you there? Okay, I'm gonna go to Ant. Ant, what's going on, Ant? And then I'm gonna get to this phone call. Caller, I'll be with you in 1 second.
What's going on, bud? You seem like a nice guy. You seem like a nice guy. And you seem like a somewhat reasonable guy. So I'm going to appeal to your reason, right? Nothing you're saying is wrong. But as a former Knicks fan, you know how the media views us. You know how we get trashed in the media. You know how we're made a joke of in the media. So if you really love the Knicks, you're like the boyfriend that breaks up with his girlfriend he's been with for 15 years. Then when he leaves, he talks junk about her. You look crazy, because why would you with her for 15 years if you're going to leave and talk junk about her? Same thing with the Knicks. You could have just quietly left and become a Laker fan. But what you did is you appealed to our reputation in the media, and you made a joke of us for attention. That's what it looks like. And what you did is you put it on eBay because you knew that the media would jump right on it, because the Knicks being a joke is what they love to talk about. If a Laker fan did this, if a Spurs fan did this, if a Celtics fan did this, they wouldn't even have covered it. But because a Knicks fan did it,
they have a reasonably run franchise. And
but you're missing the point, though. What you did
wasn't about the money. I'm not pocketing any money.
I'm not even saying you are, but you saying you love the Knicks so much, but when you leave, you try to damage them as much as you could. Doing what you did didn't help the Knicks.
The flaws, and it was only a small glimpse in the eBay write-up. So I know most people read the highlights or the headline and might have skimmed it. If you delve into some of that, like, the amount of bad decisions is mind-blowing. Like, at the 23rd hour, the Nuggets asked for Timothy Mozgov. We could have simply said no, and the Melo trade goes through. After that, Mozgov gets flipped, wins a ring with the Cavs, gets traded for 2 first-round picks, and now just got flipped for Dwight Howard. And he was like,
but listen, bro, you could have just came here and said that exact same thing. We all would have agreed with you. That's not even what we mad at. What we mad at is the way you went about it. You tried to make a joke of the franchise, and that was your agenda.
When this whole, like, the media really started picking up on it, I'm not really going to get into specifics, but I left the window open where they could come talk to me, and the Knicks could spin it, and it could have a whole different outlook. Like, if they're...
When was the last time the Knicks had bad publicity? In the last 2 years. We haven't had bad publicity. You are the bad publicity. Well, you're Charles Oakley, but you are the bad publicity right now. They were doing stuff the right way. They're not doing dumb things, and you decided to bring bad publicity.
I'm not really. Dude, I'm telling people, if I'm a Knicks fan, this is the brightest the future has looked since Carmelo.
And I just did that then. You didn't have to put your fandom on eBay. You made a joke of it. And I feel like that was your agenda.
How else do you speak to Dolan? How else? He's not going to – you're going to tweet at him? Like, what are you going to do?
Nothing. Just leave.
At some point, someone has to be able to voice their opinion somewhere. To be,
we voice our opinions, and we stay fans.
You passed frustrated with this front office a decade ago. That's gone. That's long gone.
What we do here is voice our opinion. What you did was a joke.
Let's go to Viv, and Evan. I know you. Yeah, I don't know how much time you got, but Viv.
Well, I have another 5-10 minutes. You guys are all good people.
Okay, Viv, it's on you, bro.
All right, cool. Thanks, Sam. Evan, good to talk to you real quick. One quick question: how long did you say you were a fan for?
My whole life.
Whole life. I mean, I've been a fan for 20 years. So I guess the real question is, how did you? I mean, how in the world did you stick through? The 2002, 2003 seasons, the 2000 Larry Brown years, the Isaiah years.
Look, I worked at the Garden in the Isaiah years, and when everyone was booing, I was there trying to be the optimistic guy. Things are going to get better. I was there. I was going to the games. That was literally probably the only time when the Garden wasn't selling out over the past 15 years, and my ass was in those seats rooting for that product that was on the court, and it was an ugly product.
No, but would you be fair to say that product back then was probably worse than what we've seen now?
We just said we had a bright future. That was
no. Like with what you clearly your built up misery from the last, I guess it's over time, but probably the last few years, right?
I mean, this is built up 17 years at this point. 17 I feel like it's like. I can almost relate to the Browns, except they're a city that no one wants to go to, and football isn't basketball, where it's basketball. If you have one of the best markets, that should be a shoo-in. You should be getting.
But is that true? I mean,
you don't have to be the Browns and miss drafting every year. Not only are we misdrafting every year, we have horrible trades. We kill the future with draft picks. We hire all the wrong coaches. It's a carousel that's a joke. You have the greatest.
But hold on. But when did you think? When was the last time Knicks had good ownership? Do you know the last time the Knicks have had good ownership?
My whole memory is clogged with Dolan.
Well, I'll tell you this: right, so ownership back in the '80s and '90s, they weren't that good either. I'll tell you that. They used to have corporations run the Knicks. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had Paramount, they had CBS, they had all those people. No one really cared about the Knicks then. Would you rather? Let me ask you this though. I mean, you mentioned a lot about Dolan doing this, Dolan doing that, or whatever.
I mean, regardless if it's him or not, obviously there's a chain of command. He's not involved in the day-to-day activities, but he's calling the top shot, and it's a trickle-down effect. So even if it's Steve Mills or whatever it might be, ultimately that decision falls back to Dolan. So even if I say, Dolan this, but the call was whoever the G was, Donnie Walsh's at the time, Dolan has to sign off. We know he's involved in the activities. He's the one who has to sign dot the I's and cross the T's at the end.
Yeah. All right, this is what we're going to do.
What are the most controversial things that like Dolan has done the last few years outside of the Phil firing?
Hey, Viv, hold on for 1 second.
I don't know. Viv. I don't know how at that exact moment there should have been an overhaul of Dolan. There's no way your GM drafts a player and you fire him the next week. It's incomprehensible.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do, guys. This is what we're gonna do because we're kind of dragging on here. I'm gonna get to Andre, and then I'm gonna ask you. I got a couple things I want to ask you, and then I'll let you go because I don't know how much more we can say. Andre, you got like 30 seconds, man.
I very much like the Trey Burks.
Yo, it's good. Thanks for putting me on, Sam. Yo, all right. You say this is for the fake Knicks fan, right? Because I've been a Knicks fan since the Stu Jackson era.
You got 30 seconds, Andre.
Was rocking the Knicks uniform. And out of all the time you had to leave the Knicks, right? Especially during you killed me when you said Lenny Wilkins was a legendary coach. First of all, Lenny Wilkens was the most winningest coach in the league, but he was the most losingest coach by far. His winning percentage was in the dumps, almost way under 50, way under 500. So let's get that correct first. So we didn't ruin Lenny Wilkens. That was a dumb decision, just hiring Lenny Wilkens. Larry Brown tanked us, so we had to let him go. How come you didn't leave when you had the opportunity, when the future was not bright? Why do you choose to leave when the future is bright, when it looks like things are turning around? Why do you choose to leave now and make a big skeptical of it when you could have made a skeptical of it when we did the dumbass Carmelo trade? Facts? Not facts?
All right, Andre, I'm going to let him answer that. I'm going to let you go, man. I appreciate the call. All right, because we're going to move on to... Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I was done a year ago. I was done last year. We're the only team who knows that we're going to suck and win games down the stretch to cost ourselves picks and then make the wrong pick. When was the last time Knicks traded up in the draft? I mean, it's great that we actually have draft picks now. I mean, that's...
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Let me say this. Let me say this. I do respect the fact that you came on and faced Knicks fans. You know what I'm saying? You know, I respect that.
I mean, it's basically...
you know, I definitely respect that. Guys, let me talk to him. Don't talk in the background. I do want to ask you, so what's next now? Do you live on the East Coast?
Yeah, I live on the East Coast, but not really because of this situation. But I think for the year, I'm probably moving west anyways. Okay. So
you're moving west anyway. So let me ask you this. Were you moving west before you became a Lakers fan? Were you already moving west?
Pretty much.
So was this a ploy to get some money so that you can move west? That $3,500 you can now get you an airplane ticket to go west, maybe put a down payment on an apartment, you know, something like that.
I'm not moving to California.
Well, even if you're not moving to California, I mean, west. I mean, to move. The $3,500, I'm sure, is going to help you move.
You know that Lakers Knicks tickets are $500 for the game.
I get that.
Is $1,000 right there.
I get that.
$500. That's $1,500. We're not even talking about accommodations, a Lakers away game somewhere, 2 jerseys, the NBA package. If you want to add all that up real quick, that's the $3,500 and then some.
Okay. I mean, that's your choice. So
if I sold my fanhood with no deliverables, then I get it. Then it's like, all right, this dude put it up. He's doing nothing with it. He's putting it in his pocket. I'm actively reinvesting into the team where I'm going.
Okay.
Well, in terms of what's next, you know, one of the questions I've heard a lot is, and because I think I was misquoted in Barstools or something, but everyone's like, is this a one-year thing in your back? Is this your whole life thing? There was no stipulations, but regardless of that, I'm taking a step back. I'm going to be done with the Knicks. I don't know what that time period is. If it happens where one day down the line, like LeBron back to the Cavs, maybe. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Do I hate the Knicks? I don't know if you can say that you hate something that you've loved. They just caused you so much pain that you had to be done with it. And that's the point where I'm at. Okay,
so are you going to be at the Lakers-Knicks game?
So that's the tentative play. So the dude who won the auction, we're trying to coordinate schedules here, and he's a pretty busy dude. So, but the plan is to whichever team won, I wanted to go to when the Knicks were going to play at their stadium, obviously.
Okay, and they're probably not going to let you in the Garden.
I would probably need
probably not going to let you in the Garden.
A couple National Guards with me, I'd imagine.
Yeah. All right. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you on behalf of all Knicks fans, if the Knicks get good, I'm be honest with you,
nobody wants to see me, and I get it.
We don't want to see you. We're not gonna want to see you.
How many wins? How many losses? It's about the culture.
Okay, I'm just, we're probably not gonna want to see you back in the Knicks jersey at that point. But hey, like I said, I respect the fact that you came on, you faced it, You know what I'm saying? I was telling him, I was like, listen, the chat can be brutal. He said, I got tough skin. I can handle it. And he handled it. I give you that, man.
Nothing's worse than being a Knicks fan for the last 15 years. So, hey, we can find our highest paid player and get Joakim Noah back. Maybe put him on the court, or let's stretch him. You know?
All right. Well, hey, when the Knicks and the Lakers,
like
when the Knicks
move after the next.
What'd you say?
Just one bad move after the next.
Yeah.
It's unreal. But rushing KP back is a mistake. If anyone wants to just see him,
yeah. Well,
everyone's KP will be back for the Christmas game, like because it's a national televised game. You know, rush KP. KP shouldn't play this year. That's no shit.
Okay.
He should not play this year, regardless of how his knee feels.
I mean, you know, that's your opinion. I get it. We hear. I mean, that's what we do here. Everyone has an opinion, and we debate it. We talk about it. Will you come back when the Knicks and Lakers play?
I mean, it depends where I am. It's St. Patty's Day. I already looked it up. We'll see. I'm not playing everything by ear.
We'll see.
Even before this started, my life had a lot of moving pieces, and this has really only complicated everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, Evan, listen. Even though all the best to you, you know, with the Lakers.
I appreciate you guys having me. I wouldn't.
You know what I'm saying?
If I'm in your shoes, I wouldn't particularly have anything nice to say about me. So thanks for keeping it, at least cordial. It was nice to chat. I'm happy to hop on, during the season and just talk hoops. It doesn't necessarily have to be.
Well, you can come on and talk. They're gonna say you can come. Listen, the video chat is always open. People that's there, they can get in, and I appreciate you coming on nonetheless. We're not gonna want you back as a Knicks fan, and that includes me. I'm just being totally honest with you, but it's just sports anyway, right? So, I get it, man.
It's just sports to some people, and then it's just sports to other people.
All right, Evan. Well, I'm gonna let you go because I know you had a long day.
Thank you,
a lot of
fellas.
interviews and things, man. I appreciate the time, man. Have a good one.